Okay, welcome back, class, to another lecture on your urban and regional transportation systems. And we'll be continuing where we picked up last time. And we were talking about some different modes and their characteristics in which people prefer and some advantages and disadvantages of those modes. So just a quick review of if we start comparing those modes and depending upon the context, which mode is the best. So, like we've talked previously as well, that why some people or some of you even try to opt for public transport or opt for your own private or family car. So these are some. I'll show you some comparative analysis between these modes, and which shows that depending upon the context and the need and the even the socioeconomic profile of the riders, the mode choice of different uh, people, it will change. So firstly, let's talk about the spatial consideration, that which mode is the best for traveling large distances. So obviously, like you might have know that uh, airplane is the one of the fastest mode and usually used to travel large distances. But for traveling inside the city, the three main modes which are driving, you can say, or influencing your choosing of one mode on another is the movement and the distance you need to travel, and what is the friction of that distance. So depending if you are going to be traveling for a short time, then walking is the best option. Like for example, if you think that okay, you need to go and pick something from the market which is very nearby, you will say okay, let's not take out the car and go to the market, it will be too much congested, so I should better go on foot. And if you have a cycle or motorbike in your own house, then you will obviously opt for it depending upon the distance and the friction. And by friction, you can even by friction, it does not mean the distance, it also means the road congestion. So depending upon the road congestion in your area or the area you want to go, you would think about opting whether you should go on foot, bike, or by car. And that friction might also include road widths as well. That if they are narrow roads, you will say, okay, let's leave my car at my home, and I would better go on my bike, or I should walk over there. So these are some, like, this is a spatial movement which plays a very big role in people's life in choosing or opting different modes. For example, if you're traveling in the city, depending upon the size of the city, you will think about opting for which kind of mode. So spatial consideration plays a very vital role in determining or in yeah, let's say influencing the mode choice of different people. The second is the cost. Obviously, the more cost of a certain facility is, it will directly have an impact on the mode choice. The cheaper a mode is, you will obviously then opt for different mode. For short distances, for example, uh, let's talk about road. For example, I think road is should be C1. I think. Okay, so depending upon the mode, I recheck the colors. So depending upon the modes, your the and distance you need to travel, your mode choice will definitely change. And then your time about a certain transportation mode. With time, you of course try to go for another mode. So in the beginning, any type of transportation, especially your public transport, and you obviously you start using that kind of mode in the beginning, and after a certain time, it will reach maturity. Yes, Azon, please.
सर लास्ट टाइम में एयर मोड क्यों नहीं है उसमें?
Okay, so this was a comparison because air will have a direct, I would say, uh, uh, I would not, whoever constructed the graph, I'm not commenting on that. But I think if we include the cost of air travel, it might be higher. So it's just a generic graph to show you. So you can replace maritime or rail with air. So this is just for explanation purposes, but depending upon the empirical data, this graph might even change. In case of Pakistan, this graph will not be true. But just gives you an idea that mode choice is highly dependent upon the transport costs. Clear, John?
Yes, sir.
We are just talking conceptually till now. Till now, we are just talking conceptually. And the coming lecture, we'll go into, yes, we'll go into empirical. This is just conceptual understanding graph. Okay. Again, then this transportation mode I was talking that when you're using a transportation mode in the beginning, when it's a new car or new public transport, people will try to use that as much as possible. And after a certain time period, it will reach its peak of maturity, and then after that, people will stop using it, probably due to the low quality or substandards, or it will go down. So in the end, only you take out your old cars only when you're feeling that, okay, this is just for layer. I'll take out my old Volkswagen, or that let's go out for a ride in the old things. So that will then go to nostalgia phase. So this is just a kind of a conceptual understanding that time, cost, and your spatial distances, they influence your travel decisions and type of mode we are going to be opting for. So that raises another question, that how are we going to be evaluating this kind of transport? So, well, there are three attributes commonly used to evaluate a different mode of transport. The first is ubiquity. So that tells you about what is the level of directness or accessibility between certain points A and B. If there is a direct, less time consuming, very accessible option from A to B, its value will increase. Similarly, in mobility, what type of quality or quantity basically it will handle to travel, to move people from one place to another? How much is the capacity of that system? How much fast it is? Then is efficiency. Is it cost effective or not? So that these three attributes are usually used to measure or evaluate that which transportation mode is best for the citizens. So okay, I will show you this one first. So ubiquity, mobility, and efficiency. These are the three main attributes, and depending upon the different type of modes and the level of your passenger service, we can check that, okay, highways or roads, they are very high ubiquity because they provide direct access. Like we talked about why in the last lecture we talked that why people opt because of the accessibility and directness. So highway has a very good uh, ubiquity properties. Uh, then mobility depends upon the vehicle and the space of the road, and efficiency, is it high efficiently or not? Then look at rail. Okay, to somewhat it is ubiquitous, it provides some kind of access. Speed and capacity is very high, mobility is very high, and efficiency is very high also because cost is very low in case of rail travel. And then airport travel, water transport, and different continuous system. These are probably the last one. Continuous flow systems is mostly focused towards this pipelines and this logistics and transport of fluids from one place to another, like gas and oil. So let's talk about the first four: highways, rail transport, and air. So these, depending on the different types of modes available, their ubiquity, mobility, and efficiency vary a lot. And yes, so fatalities. So I put this slide because I think last time Rida mentioned that no, the air carriers have a high death rate or something like. To just to clear up that matter, look at the air carriers or the airways which have all the time. This is the air one. Okay. Uh, okay. So in 1970, look at this. This aircraft transport accidents or fatalities by aircraft, they have decreased over time. So as compared to the highways, look at the highways, number of fatalities on highways. So that are tremendous. They are of course on water and transit, but look at transit and railroad. I mean, transit is almost negligible as compared to the rest of the modes. But highest percentage of fatalities are caused by highways or road transport. So I hope it is clear now. Then we come to performance level. That uh, the space a vehicle covers and the speed. So if we divide that, like speed divided by space, we can somehow come up with a performance index about each mode. So as you can see, there are different like half full, full metro, rail, bus, car, cyclist, pedestrian. So look at this and tell me which mode has the highest performance index. Anyone? Anyone by this graph, which is has the highest performance index and which has the lowest performance index? Speed divided by space. Yes, Zuzan, please.
Sorry, metro?
Yes, full rail light metro has the highest performance index depending upon space and speed and space. And what about the lowest performance index?
Car with one person, I think.
Yes, cars with 1% shows you the lowest performance by transportation mode. So now this is just we're talking about space and speed. And obviously, if we talk about per capita cost, that of course that will also be turn out to be very efficient in case of rail transport in the intercity. Sorry, intracity. Okay, this is now we're talking about comparing the modes in terms of energy or the carbon emissions it produces or how harmful it is. So by energy efficiency, you can see that the best performance is your is on the right corner is the best performance, and in the sorry, bottom right is the best performance, and top left is worst performance. So here you can see the car with overlapping to some extent to with buses, independent on the passenger and freight. Let's talk about passengers only, the light blue one. So car has the worst performance of the mode energy-wise consumption, and the best is like kind of a supersonic plane or jet plane which has better efficiencies. I don't know why cargo. Okay, cargo is here, but truck train is also there. Okay, so this is just to show you that every kind of mode has different type of performance, energy wise performance. Yes, Alia, please.
सर इसमें फ्यूल भी तो मैटर करता होगा कि किस फ्यूल पे ये रन करिए, तभी तो आप एफिशिएंसी मतलब आप या तो
Yes.
फिर आप जनरल बात कर रहे हैं.
Yes, generic bit, I'm talking about somewhat generic as well, but this is just an estimation. It's a comparative analysis that what is the, like, let's talk about how much energy cost and the speed, how much fuel it consumes based on energy, and what is the speed of that. So speed wise, okay, supersonic space good, but its performance is worst. So here, if we go towards the best performance, the train, more or less, train is coming out to be a medium kind of performing best, not worst, not best, because it also you are you are comparing speed and your energy cost. So again, yes, Sadia is right that it also depends upon the type of fuel we'll be using. But I think when making this type of graph, they might have considered to be have a normalized value so that we can have, so every type of fuel must have the same kind of energy cost. We can have some quantifiable value that this much is the cost of this fuel and this is much energy it produces, so we can have some kind of a quantitative value. So of course that would more or less be covered already in the energy cost. Got it, Salia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Then again, the efficiency with respect to passengers per energy efficiency. So again, high rail speed. It was also good, performing very well in case of this performance index, space divided by speed, and also energy-wise, rail speed is the best. It conserves per capita energy efficiency is very good. So this kind of like scientifically or statistically, it kinds of promotes the idea that rail transport is the best way of commuting within or within cities or between two cities. So that's again we can have an again argument that some people are pro car users or automobile focused, while some of us promote public transportation system. So in case of public transportation, we always think about bus rapid transport system or buses, even that are not so much good performing. So rail is one of the best option. Of course, it is expensive in the initial run, but it is proven scientifically to be one of the best way of commuting as compared to the rest of the modes. So this is a breakup which people travel from the years. So over the years, we have seen that car has more or less remained same over certain years, and then uh, uh, car as a passenger traveling as a passenger, it has been made. But overall, cyclists and motorcyclists have reduced in this city, in the world. So this is another comparative in which different modes people have been traveling or not over a time period. So in the next lecture, I'll also show you some different graphs regarding how people opt for, in Pakistan, case of Pakistan, which people try to opt for which kind of modes. So this is just a brief overview. And look at ages. So ages also has an impact. This graph shows that age plays a very vital role in people's life, in which people opt for which kind of transport. So elderly, the major portion of car travel as a driver are by the adults after the age of 25, and after the age of 60 it start decreasing. So it tells you that more aged people or young people or aged people, they try to not use the car. They want to use, they want to be car passenger, or they will be a pedestrian or something. So age plays another vital role. So of course, if age is there, gender will be there, income will be there as well. This is mode as depending on the time period, in which mode is commonly used. So this also gives you an idea. This is basically data from New Zealand. So this also gives you an idea that time or mode, the time of the day also influences your mode choices. Okay, we've talked about this, that which of the transport has been dominant and why, and which some of you have preferred, public transport or private car. So this brings me to the question that which of you, some of you, obviously most of you have said that you use car or your bike, but what problem or what challenge you think you face that limits you in opting for public transport? Anyone? What are the factors which influences you in not opting for public transport? Yes, Alia, please.
Sir, I guess one would be the distance you have to walk just to get to कोई भी public transport का कोई जो station होता है, metro का station होता है, so that would be the first.
Yes, definitely, very good point. Totally agree. Yes, Rizwan, please.
सर मेरा भी पॉइंट यही था कि लाइक हमारी इजी एक्सेस नहीं है कि टूवर्ड्स मेट्रो, स्पेशली इस्लामाबाद वालों के लिए, कि उनके पास कोई ऐसा जरिया नहीं है कि वो स्पेशली इस्लामाबाद के लाइक मेट्रो स्टेशन तक पहुंच सकें. ठीक है, वरना वही बात है कि लोकल वैन्स यूज़ करनी पड़ेंगी इस तरह का, और लोकल वैन्स इस तरह की नहीं है कि उनको लाइक या फैमिली यूज़ करे या लाइक लड़कियां यूज़ करें स्पेशली. ठीक है, तो
Yes, like today we talked about in the presentation informal transport system. So informal transport, that they cater the need of this moving people to the main transit stations. Yes, you're right. Anyone else? Only 2 students active today. Okay, so exercise time. I've created one exercise again in your LMS. So please fill out like in your opinion, comparatively, please rate all these 5 modes, and depending on different issues, just rate it which is performing best or not. For example, if you think that rail is the most cost effective with respect to finances, rail is the best, then you need to add a number of 1. Okay, So I've put this as an LMS as an exercise. So kindly look into it and fill it, and I'll give you some feedback soon. So this is today's exercise. Any question?
सर अभी कर लें?
I've uploaded it as an exercise. Everybody need to do it.
Sir, highest rating 1 है या 5 है?
Yeah, 1 है. So it means that इसका अगर we will make a sum of it of every mode. Like in the end, if we like here we add sum of all of them. Like here you step to 1, 1, or 1, or 1, 1, and the total value is 5. Okay, so it means that whichever mode has the lowest value is the best performing one. So that is again your relative assessment. Everyone value will change. Everybody will rate that, no, this, I think this is this and this is that. So yes, Ahmed, please.
सर ये जो वाटर ट्रांसपोर्ट है सर, हम इसको डिफरेंशिएट नहीं करेंगे बिटवीन सी एंड इनलैंड इन फॉर्म ऑफ रिवर्स एंड कैनाल सर, क्योंकि सर काफी जो डिफरेंस आ जाता है सर सी ट्रांसपोर्ट में और सर इनलैंड जो रिवर्स या कैनाल्स में होती है सर.
Okay, so okay, you go for C for inland, please. Go for inland.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, I'll leave it for the first session. So please do this exercise and upload it, and maybe we can have a discussion in the coming lecture. So I'll join you again around 6:30.
I'm sorry, कितने बजे submit कराना है अभी?
If you submit it now, it would be best. But if you want to take time, okay.
रात का time दे दें.
This you just need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just need to, okay, take your time. So submit it at night. But I just want you to go through this exercise, because in the next slide I will discuss that. Okay, so I'm stopping the recording now.